You know, it comes down to being consistently good. It comes down to halftime adjustments on their side and us making halftime adjustments and being able to digest that and take it to the football field. It's what happens when you get young teams, especially the way they've been trained, that we're trying to get them to be more flexible so they can bend more, like an REED in the wind. Where there's times that we need to change concepts to keep the point production going. They have the concepts, even though they didn't practice the concepts. The concepts are what they need to hold on to. So we'll get better at that as we grow, but that's been the biggest difference between first halves and second halves.
Chris and then Nico.
I guess I'm thinking like Mark a little bit, but in chess, they always talk about the opening sequence being really critical. I know some coaches script a certain number of plays and that sort of thing. You guys have started really good. What's your process as far as kind of opening the game?
To me, it's more about what you want to see. So, and it's the same thing on the defense. When you start a game, it's like, I want to see how they're going to play this, and this. And then based off of how they play those things, you decide how you're going to do the game. Other people do it off of plays. We do it off of something I don't want to get out in the paper right now. Okay?
Nico?
Coach, jumping on what you've seen so far, but your thoughts on Notre Dame heading into this weekend's game?
They're really good, you know, and they're wounded. You know, they've got some controversy going on over there. What normally happens in those situations is, just like in the cowboy movies, you circle the wagons and you find out who wants to fight and who doesn't want to fight. So we're going to get an angry mama bear that's been wounded, that's going to be fighting and clawing and coming out with all they have, and really wish they wouldn't have done anything and wish they would have won the game last week. So we're going to get their best shot, there's no doubt.
John?
I was just going to ask, do you feel like you're catching Notre Dame in a vulnerable position?
No, I think Duke caught them in a vulnerable position. I think we're going to get their best shot.
In the back?
Coach, we continue to see Ahmed Atalo set record numbers. Can you talk about how he and Eric Dungey's relationship has just unfolded from the summer to now, and how critical that relationship is to your team's success?
You know, anytime quarterback and wide receivers get relationships, he's got relationships with the entire group. What happens is happenings, and it just seems like you know, they have a great feel for each other, and then based off the things that have been going on in the games, they've been finding a way to make it happen, and there's no scientific thing for it. It's just something that happens, and thank God it is happening, because right now there's some of the key parts of our offense.
Mark?
Coach, I wondered what your thought is on the whole neutral site thing. And you know, Syracuse has been down there 3 times now, lost all 3. You're giving up a home game. You get to play a team like Notre Dame on national TV. But what's your whole take on this week's game?
You already know the answer. You do. Here's my thing. I get it that we get a lot of money and we'll pay a lot of the bills, and that's really good. So that's great. I would hope that in the future that we get to play them in the Carrier Dome.
Okay, so there's a big but there.
In the future, I'd hope to get teams like that in the Carrier Dome.
Coach, is there any kind of concern sometimes with Eric Dungey staring down a receiver and not going through his reads? It looked like you kind of looked like they knew the ball was going to Amba. Eric was kind of staring him down and double pumping a lot, waiting for him to get open. Is there any concern that he's not looking elsewhere around the field?
That is absolutely false. He's looking at, there's all kinds of things that he's looking at, okay? And later, I think two weeks ago when Briz caught his touchdown, he was looking and Amba was over there. And they covered Amba and he threw the ball to Briz. So he's not staring down anybody. You're talking about a guy that's being developed. I think he's in the top 10 in the country. He's setting all kind of records. If he was staring at, how many interceptions has he thrown? If he's staring at his reads, he's going to be throwing a lot of interceptions. So I don't know where you got that from. Not sound. Not sound.
Mari?
Defensively, last week you guys talked about communicating more. How do you feel as a whole this defense communicated from that USF week, the last week against Connecticut?
I thought they did better. Now, the one thing I will say is that the Connecticut crowd wasn't as large, and being in an outdoor venue, it wasn't as loud as it could be. Now, this crowd that we've got coming up at MetLife, preferably, since it's a neutral field, it'll be 50-50. Yeah, I understand that it could be a tad louder. So it's really going to be on this week for the defense to really do a good job in communicating. Now, when you're playing when you go somewhere and the offense has the home field advantage, so to speak, it's going to be quieter for the defense. The noise level is actually louder for the offense than the defense in these situations, although it could still be extremely loud. That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You did not. That was me. I should have finished better. Go ahead.
You're fine. So I think my question is kind of related to Tom Ayers. It seems like Eric does a lot of half-field reads. Not that he's staring down a receiver, but I think we all noticed and looked to Amba. I think Amba got 18 targets, and even on some plays, that's where he looked first. I guess my question is, how many of his throws are half-field reads? How much does he usually have to worry about on the play?
All that depends on the opponent that we're playing and the style of game that we want to play. I'll give you a basic football 101 lesson. We have reads from left to right. We have reads from right to left. We have half-field reads. We have reads that start deep and go short, and reads that go short and go deep. And then we have cross-field reads where you're reading individual mesh players. So there's numerous reads that a quarterback has based off the concept that we're going to pick out during the week that we want to use based off the defense that we're playing. If the defense changes during the game, then the concepts have to change and the reads have to change. So it's a lot. You guys are talking about checkers, and it really is chess when it comes to that. That the young man in our offense, he goes through all those reads that I talked about. It depends on the opponent. Certain style of defenses, you use certain style of reads.
Thanks.
Okay.
Chris?
Now you guys, I'm gonna start charging you guys for this now. If I'm gonna start giving you all that, we're gonna have to take classes.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
you
have
made the time to come here, we just want to keep you.
How much can a new defensive coordinator like reasonably change in a week for a team?
I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know how. You know, you're talking about someone that really technically wasn't on the staff, right? He was what was he?
Analyst.
Do we have any of those here? Do I get analysts, Sue? So I don't know how much power he has. I don't know how much power he's been given. I have no idea what he'll be able to change or whether he'll have to keep things the same. It's a very difficult situation for us because we have to prepare for everything and we can't prepare for one thing. And with a young football team, that's not good.
I imagine it would be hard to change a ton schematically though, you overwhelm players? Or?
Well, you got to think about this. It's not his defense. He hasn't called it. So now you've got somebody in France, right? And he speaks Spanish, and now he's got to speak French. I mean, it can be difficult. So who knows what he's going to be able to change?
Time for a couple more questions. Tad in the middle.
Coach,
Oh my God.
there's a bit of a mystique with Notre Dame. It's the first time you're as head coach coaching against them. What do you think you gained from this game last weekend that you can take to this game against Notre Dame?
You know, nice close game, a game in the fourth quarter, a game that defense came up with big plays, big stops. Offense came up with a drive when they had to, even though we had gone cold. Offense had gone cold in the second half to be able to come up with a 99-yard drive to really ice the game. You know, a good family team win. The last 3 times that I've been on teams that have played Notre Dame, we've won, we've lost, where we had the lead with 4 minutes to go and we couldn't run the clock out. We lost where we threw 5 turnovers. We had 5 interceptions. We lost by 3 or 4 points to them. I'm referring to Texas A&M and UCLA. They're just one of those teams that just normally always have luck on their side. So you have to really be prepared. They have luck. They have the Irish. They have the best players in the country, and they have their own TV station. So their coaches are well paid. Their players are really good, and they have outstanding traditions.
Last question for Coach. Mario?
Zaire Franklin's kind of became that leader on the defensive side, not that he wasn't at the beginning of the year. How has his play progressed since that week one and now, back-to-back double-digit tackle weeks?
Well, who said that Zaire, you're saying Zaire is the leader of the defense, right?
I am.
Okay. Zaire is one of our best players on the defense, and I think that a lot of players look up to him. I agree. What was your question?
How has he matured from week one up until now with this defense helping it along?
You know, Zaire takes his work very seriously. I think that's one of the things that you always appreciate about him. And he's one of those guys that learns things very quickly. He has a very high football IQ. And once he learns it, he wants to bring his brethren with him. And I think that spreads throughout the team and the people that he's around. And I think he does a nice job of trying to get everybody on the exact same page, which it takes for a defense to be really successful, 11 guys working as one. And I think all the guys on defense have really done a better job as we continue to grow together of being consistent. And if we got an opportunity to be consistently good, then we'll have a chance.